everyone, welcome back. My name is Evore, as you all know, and with me is Brittany.
Hello, I could be your audience too.
Oh.
You gotta be your audience. We gonna have fun. We gonna have some fun today.
So Brittany is a breast cancer survivor, and she's here to tell us her story. So, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone, beautiful people out there. My name is Brittany Butler. I'm 25 years young. Okay, not old, young. You like that one? You like that one? And I am a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed last year of September, 2 months away from my 25th birthday. So I was 24 years old at the time. And I started treatment October of 2020, but in between September and October, I did fertility treatment. So I froze my eggs. So between there, I did 2 weeks of shooting myself with all of these hormones, and then I did a big egg retrieval, so that at the end of all of this, I can possibly have kids. I'm still young. I don't have a family yet. So I went that direction of saving my eggs before I started treatment.
Right, because when you start treatment, does it affect you?
Mm-hmm. So the chemotherapy affects fertility and reproductive, and I don't have kids yet, and I don't have a husband yet, I don't have a house yet. So that was so important to me, and I was able to do that in that amount of time. So it was stage 2 breast cancer. It was triple negative, which was it's an aggressive form. So all of the HER2 receptors, hormone receptors, basically, they all came out negative. Yeah, so it's I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Okay.
But we all have these receptors, and I may be saying them wrong, I may be saying them right. And when they test them, they test to see if it's positive whatsoever. And all of them were negative. So
is that good or is that bad?
It's different forms. So I'm pretty sure there are people that are probably have HER2 positive receptors that are positive and some are negative.
Mm-hmm.
The form that I had was aggressive, so it was moving pretty quickly. And also, in the beginning of the year, let me just give some backstory.
Mm-hmm. That's the beginning of last year.
Yes, of 2020. So the beginning of the year, I had my routine checkup with my primary physician, and we did all of the examinations that you do at your primary care doctor. And there was nothing. We didn't feel anything. I was good to go. In April of 2020, that's when I did the self-examination, and I had a lump in my left breast. And I called my doctor and was like, I'm feeling something. And she's like, it's probably a cyst. You're young. When you have your menstrual cycle, typically they come and they go. Mm-hmm. But it didn't go. So I called her and I'm like, yeah, it's not going away, and it's starting to hurt. Now,
it was hurting.
Yeah, which is different because if you Google, never Google, okay? But if you Google symptoms of breast cancer, I Googled. If you Google symptoms of breast cancer, it says that the mass typically does not hurt, but this mass was hurting. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not breast cancer because this hurts.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like your period. You didn't feel like maybe, because I know sometimes when you're in your period, the breasts become heavy and
right. No. This was a different feeling. It was starting to get bigger and bigger, and I'm like, what is happening? But because of COVID, it was so high, my appointments were being pushed back. So I didn't go to get a mammogram or a sonogram or anything until September.
Ooh, from March to September.
Mm-hmm. And I'm ignoring the pain, kind of, and I'm trying to live my best life. I'm trying to live my best life, and I'm But then in August, it got really bad. It was starting to hurt more, and I'm like, okay, I have to go. And I got a new job. It was a lot going on between March and September. And then I finally was like, no, I have to go. I can't put this off any longer. And then that's when I went first and got a breast sonogram because I'm too young to get a mammogram. So they don't typically they do not test you for mammograms until you're the age of 40. I'm 24 at the time. It's no reason for.
I'm pretty sure I've done mammogram.
Yeah, so if you go to them and you're like, yeah, maybe it's genetically based. It runs in my family or whatever the case may be. Then they'll give it to you. But as far as going to the doctor and saying, hey, I want a mammogram, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's sign you up.
Do you have any form of cancer or anything genetically?
Yes, and I didn't find out until I was diagnosed. My dad was like, yeah, my grandmother had it, and all of my aunts had it. You should have told me this when I was 18 because I could have got tested. Yeah. And I could have did preventative measures as far as like getting the surgery early on.
Wait, like, do you have ways of preventing cancer?
Yeah, well, if I would have went to my doctors and said, hey, my great grandmother passed away from breast cancer and my aunt is like a whole history, then they would have tested me for the BRCA gene, which is it's abbreviation for breast cancer. And I tested positive for it. So I have that breast cancer gene. So if I would have been tested earlier, then I would have been able to have my double mastectomy probably around the age of 18, and I wouldn't have to do chemo or radiation and do this whole process where Angelina Jolie did it. So she tested for the BRCA, and then she decided to do double mastectomy early on. So that way she doesn't have to do chemotherapy or do any other type of therapies to help.
Oh, so I didn't know that was a thing.
BRCA. BRCA. So it's an abbreviation for breast cancer. So I got tested and it came back positive. And so I am a triple negative breast cancer survivor as well as a BRCA1. So it's BRCA1 and BRCA2, which is a difference between the two, slight difference. With BRCA1, I am also at risk for ovarian cancer. So I'm going to have to deal with that as I get older and taking preventative measures, which would be hysterectomy, which is getting rid of my ovaries and stuff. But I'm not doing that until I have some kids, and settle down. So yeah, I went from March to September. I went for a breast sonogram. When she looked at it, it was filled with black fluid. So she asked me to come the next day to get a mammogram and to get a biopsy. And then she called me the next day. She's like, yeah, unfortunately, sad to say, the lump that we found is cancerous and it spread to my lymph nodes underneath my arm. So it wasn't just localized, it was regionalized, meaning that it moved to the lymph nodes.
But all that could have been prevented
if I known about the family history, and I could have gotten the double mastectomy probably around the age early on, maybe 21, maybe 18, But I'm here now. I feel like God put me here today to be able to share with people, so that people can go and do the daily research and say like, hey, does this run in my family and stuff? And if you do that, then you can be on top of it. So this is what I'm here for, advocating. Like, hey, did you fill out your birth certificate? Did you fill out your birth certificate, Mom? Yeah, actually, I did. Okay, good.
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't.
Good.
I've had a lot before. Yeah, so that's one thing I always check. Like,
yeah, so those are things that, I try to spread awareness for that, so that you don't end up like me and everyone's like, oh, you're so young, but breast cancer can happen to anyone.
3-year-olds have breast cancer, newborn babies,
and men.
Sorry, not breast cancer.
Cancer, right? Men they can get breast cancer as well. Yeah.
Oh, for real? I've never heard that before.
Men are liable to that as well.
So okay, I was going to say, I've learned something today. I mean, if you know that someone in your family had breast cancer, is it just breast cancer or any type of cancer?
Oh, any type of cancer.
Okay.
I believe there's some cancer.
You can always go to check if you have the
gene.
Oh, the gene.
Right, the gene for any type of cancer.
Oh,
but if it's breast cancer, let's say your mom or your aunt had it, you can go and say, hey, my mom and my aunt, they had breast cancer, and I want to get tested for this BRCA gene. They'll test you to see if it's 1 or 2, and BRCA is BRCA. Weird.
BRCA.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like the way it's now, but that's what it's called. I started chemotherapy. After that, I did a double mastectomy, and then now I'm just waiting for radiation.
How many chemo
rounds? So I did 8 rounds. I did 4 rounds of it's something called Red Devil. We call it Red Devil because it's literally the devil. And then 4 rounds of Taxol, and then each month I did more hormone shots to preserve my fertility. That's what you may call it. So I started in October, and then my last round of chemotherapy was January 22nd. And that was this whole journey has been hard, but chemo was definitely a doozy. A doozy. Like a whirlwind.
Okay. Oh. Sorry. I don't know some of these terms.
A doozy, a whirlwind. Some of my lowest points. It was like an emotional roller coaster. So it was like 1 week I would go to chemo, and then that week I would feel terrible. And then I'll start to gain my strength again, and then I have to go right back. And it's like, when is this ever going to end?
The last lady I interviewed actually said something similar.
Yeah.
Like 1 week she goes to chemo, and then she can't do anything. She literally feels like powerless. And then the next week, I think she loses her voice. And then the next week she's good. Yeah. And then next week she has to go back again.
Everyone has like different like symptoms and stuff, but like that emotional roller coaster is no joke. I did it every other Friday. So I would go Friday. That week I would feel terrible, and then the next week I'll start to like get my strength up, and then I have to go back again. And the symptoms were just like I lost taste buds were gone. I had sore throat, terrible heartburn. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to get up out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. When I had those days, and then when I started taking my strength, I'm like, I can do this. Let me go back to work. Let me do this. Let me do this. And then it was just like, no, Brittany, you can't. You can't do it. You have to slow down. So chemo was very, very hard. Then on March 5th, I did a double mastectomy, which is...
Oh, that was just last month.
Very new. A bilateral mastectomy, which is chopping off the breast. Now, I was a size G. Not funny story, but story time.
What? Size G?
Yeah, I was a size G.
For those of you who don't know what size G is, Google it.
A size G. The ironic thing, yes. So
that's one of the things that comes with big boobs.
I was diagnosed in early September. I had a consultation for breast reduction 2 weeks after I was diagnosed.
Wait, you had a consultation for a breast reduction 2 weeks after you were diagnosed? You went in for the consultation?
No. I never made it. So I need to make it to the consultation because when I was diagnosed.
Oh, so you wanted to do a breast reduction before you got diagnosed? Oh.
I was scheduled to go and talk to a doctor to do a breast reduction, and I'm pretty sure if I didn't go to my primary doctor or whatever the case may be, they would have found it there. Definitely. So,
what made you decide to get a breast reduction? It was just
pain? I was having shoulder pain and back pain. And
just from having big boobs or because of the lump?
No, because of big boobs. I have big boobs all my life. It runs in my family. And I complained half of my life because I'm still like all your life. It's only 25 years. I complained half of my life. And I didn't like how I looked in the mirror. I complained. And I just wanted to, get rid of them. And I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned is love who you are. Because now I'm in a predicament where I have no feeling in my chest at all. I will never be able to have feeling. I will never be able to breastfeed. I will. My mobility is not the best. So it's hard. Hard. I can't lift my hands all the way to the sky anymore. Well, it'll get better.
Was it because of the double?
Mm-hmm. So they took out all of the tissue. And when they did the double mastectomy, they put an expander. So that's why I have something right now. And they fill it up with salt water. So I didn't do reconstruction yet because I still have to do radiation. So they expanded me to the size that I want to be. So I'm the size that I would have been if I got the reduction. But this is definitely people like, oh, you get a boob job, but it's not a boob job. I have no areolas anymore.
I don't know what that is.
Nipples.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's fun. So yeah, I just did
that. Because actually, that's one of the things I'm considering doing. The areola tattoo.
Yeah.
See? I want to do it.
No, seriously. Once I do my reconstruction, that's definitely something that I am considering doing a tattoo of the nipples because I don't have any right now. So that was I thought because chemo was so crazy that the surgery would be easy, especially because I have a high tolerance for pain. But I struggled mentally with the surgery. Mentally, as far as you gotta depend on everyone, and I think I struggled mentally throughout the whole entire process because here I am. I was moving up in my career. I was going to get a promotion. I was going to move out of my mom's house, and I was diagnosed, and it was like everything came to a halt. And it's like, what do I do now? Now I have to depend on my mom. I have to depend on my dad. I have to depend on all these family members. And it's like, is there? I don't know. It was just that has been the hardest part for me. I would say,
Well, first of all, I want to commend you for your strength, right? Wow. And then your energy and everything, it's amazing. But one question I have is, I mean, like I said, I've had a lot before, but I've always had small boobs, so I feel like it was easy for me to detect. How were you? I mean, if your breast was that big, how were you able to
Oh no, you can feel it and you can see it. So the lump was about 4 to 5 centimeters, which was really big. So that's why I had to do chemotherapy before the surgery so that they could shrink it and then take it out. But literally, like it was like it's popping out. Like you can see it. So that's how I felt it, and then the pain. So I'm like, this is weird. I feel it, and then it's painful. Yeah.
But it's not like the whole boobs were painful.
No.
It's just the lump. Okay, that. Was he moving?
No. It was like rock solid, like literally, rock solid.
Yeah. Well, that's.
But in other news, on March 16th, 2 weeks after my surgery, doctors called great news, and I'm now in remission. I'm cancer free, right? Yeah. No evidence of disease, and although I am in remission right now, I still do have to do radiation so that they make sure like nothing comes back. So I start that actually next week. So yeah, it was so weird. It's like when she called me, she's like, I have the best news ever. There's no evidence of disease, and I feel like she was waiting for me, like, but I was just like such in a bad space mentally from the surgery that I couldn't even like really like celebrate that moment. But now I'm starting to like slowly like get my life back, and not get my life back. Like my life will never be the same. I'm not the same person that I was before. Life will never be the same because I still have those thoughts like what if it comes back, which is normal for anyone that just been through this traumatic experience. Yeah. But I'm trying to stay positive and keep on my life and just try to go back to the normalcy of being Brittany, because I'm young. I always have a good time.
Brittany. You should actually start a show. What's your YouTube name?
That shit with cancer, but I've been thinking about like being.
I love that, being Brittany.
Yeah. Let's have a good time. I'm like disinterrupted. People are like, how old are you? I'm like 24 because 25 don't count. Like I was about the 25, but
I was saying that to last year because of Corona. I'm like, that last year don't count.
It doesn't count. I was like my career, my like just being independent. I was looking forward to. I was trying to find me a husband. It's not. Yeah, nothing. There's nothing out there, but it's not too late anyway. But I try to stay positive to think like you've made it this far. God got you through it. He carried you this far. And it's like, girl, you can do it.
Yeah,
you can do it.
You can.
Yeah.
I definitely love your energy. Like
No, I told you I was gonna come on here and cut up. Gotta get vibrations to everyone because this is hard. It's hard, and it's not to say I didn't have my bad days. There's days where I just cry. I wake up some mornings and I just cry. But majority of the mornings I wake up and I say thank you God, because each day is a gift to me now. It's a blessing. He spared my life.
Be grateful.
Grateful.
That's one of the lessons I pick from every session that I have with ladies on this project. Everybody at the interview, just be grateful. I always pick. Everybody always has that to say, because really, when you look at life, you're like, there are people that actually
don't make it. I've seen stories where people don't come out on the other side. Their body rejects the chemotherapy and it rejects the surgery.
Wait, that happened?
Some people's bodies reject chemotherapy where it doesn't work for them.
Oh.
So I've seen it firsthand, and just for me to be sitting here and telling you my story is a blessing. And I just look at life differently. People text my phone upset about stuff. I'd be like, what you upset about? What you complaining about today? Get off my line. God woke us up. We are here. Take the complaint to someone else. Because I don't want to hear it. Honestly, life is I'm just thankful. I don't want to start crying on here. But, just to be here. To be here is a blessing. And I feel like because God's been good to me, I feel like I owe the positivity and positive energy to be blessed.
To be blessed.
Oh, just bring it. I don't know.
You basically touched everything.
I'm sorry, I just hit the camera. Wait, comes up so sorry.
It makes my work easier. Like, it just makes everything easier. Okay, but I still had like a few questions that I want to ask. So when you found out, okay, I already know how you felt and everything, but how did your family feel? Like, did you want to come out about it, or was it something you just wanted to keep to yourself? Or?
No, so I'm like that. I have a big family.
Yeah.
I have many friends. So I definitely want to share this with them because it's just like they played a huge part of my life before cancer. Like, how can I? It's very hard. It was very hard. Just to tell them it's hard. And tell my sister, because I'm like so close to my sister. And tell my family it was hard as well, because I'm so close and my friends. But honestly, my support team. I call them my prayer warriors, my support team. They are amazing. Like, as soon as I told them, it was hard. We cried. We went through our feelings, being angry, being sad. How I never questioned God why. That's just something that I don't do. I feel like things happen in life. It's how you take it. Didn't question why, but it was just like, okay, God, whatever you have, and you hope it will be done. And that's why I feel like this is like attitude. But to go back to my when I found out, I was like, oh my God, go get my eyebrows done. And she called me and she's like, are you free right now? I'm like, oh. We went in the car and I had to like miss my eyebrow appointment, and she told me, and I cried in the car for probably about 5 minutes. And then I called my cousin, who was the first person to call the pastor. We just prayed, and then I called the rest of the gang, basically. And it was hard, but they've been the best, amazing. I think if you have continued team, because they help you to keep going. Days that I want to give up, and it's like fighting, literally.
So I just have 2 more questions. I'm going to go back to what you said. You said at some point that there was black food. What is that? Like, was that as a result of?
Yeah, so I'm guessing that that's what it was. Not sure the exact, but when they did the breast sonogram, because that was what they did, it showed an abnormal result, and the abnormal result was black fluid. Now, I'm not exactly sure like what it was, but from then she was like, yeah, we need to do pregnant.
So were you producing any fluid from your breast?
So if you look at the submission recipes, they'll tell you dimpling, they'll tell you lump, they'll tell you it doesn't hurt, they'll tell you that you're leaking.
Yeah.
I experienced that. It was just the lump and hurt, which was the opposite of everything you had. So it was
I would have thought that was probably a relation.
Literally, I didn't experience any of the things that took me. I was out here like, what? Happy hour? What? Let's go party. Let's go to this. It just, nothing was different but the lump. And I was like, trying to ignore it. It became consistent. Because when it was pregnant, it would hurt and it would go away. And it would hurt and go away.
So have you had to like change anything like in terms of your diet or anything?
Yeah, so definitely I'm working on that.
But do you have to?
So here's the thing: some people have different theories on that. There isn't like research that says, eat this. But a lot of people choose what they eat. But I've read stories where vegans, what they do say is that alcohol is like a drink problem. So I'm working on cutting it. Oh my God! I'm gonna be honest with your viewers. I'm still young. I'm working on that part. I like You go to the little brunches and
she loves to brunch.
I'm
sorry, I just take Moscato. I don't do alcohol.
We like the unlimited mimosas, on Sundays. The boozy brunches. So I'm like working on that, but I will say that I cut back on the alcohol. I said I was alcohol before, but like if I go out, I don't like a drink to maximum. So cutting back, and eventually I do. Beating it. I don't. Yeah. And then I'm trying to exercise more and do stuff, but I'm mentally ready for that. But I was definitely change that. Everyone is different. Everyone's different. Some people will say, "Yeah, I stuff with me," and they'll have their reason for it. So yes, it takes time.
So what do you have to say to other people watching this story right now? Going through the same thing as you are?
I would say you are beautiful. Although you feel it, you are beautiful. You are strong. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Although you may not feel like there is. You are resilient. You are powerful. You are in control of your destiny. There is purpose in your life. You are not alone because our breast cancer community is so big, it's so huge. You need someone I can be your support system, your support team, and lastly, it's okay not to be okay. And I think a lot of the times, and you probably like we're always up, we're always like in good spirits. It's like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But the reality is, like I said, I wake up and I'm like, I can't do that. So it's okay not to let anyone tell you how to feel. You go through those feelings
Aww, it's so amazing. Yo, she's 25. She has all this wisdom and energy in her.
We gotta give it. I'm giving all of my energy to you guys. I hope you guys are feeling it. I hope you're feeling like you're amazing. This is amazing. Oh my goodness. And I watched the past 2 interviews and I'm like, she's amazing. And the people that she has. This is just, girl, you got something going.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you honoring my request to get interviewed by me, despite everything that
the devil tried to try us.
You need to know what I'm been through today.
We're here, as you can see.
But despite everything, it's still safe. She literally drove all the way from New York to meet me at New Jersey. Like she's amazing. You're awesome. You're awesome.
We both awesome.
Yeah,
we're awesome.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate meeting you. And the first time we spoke on the phone, it was like we had known each other like the longest. It was amazing.
The energy was.
It was. Y'all know I'm a very. And as you can tell, looking at her, she's.
I said to myself, I'm gonna try to dim it down a little when I get here because I can act a fool. We here.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I pray this is the beginning of a long-lasting friendship.
Maybe we can do a brunch with no booze.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe but I do come down to New York or you come down to Atlanta.
I'm coming. I want some Atlanta.
Hit me up. Definitely. Okay, I want to get your. I'm sure you see me do this in my past interviews, but I want to get your sign anywhere. It's just basically, like, I want to remember you and to just sign anywhere. get your autograph. You know, she's a superstar, so I'm trying to get her autograph right now. You know, have a needed something.
Oh no!
No,
You're so sweet. You know, thank you.
No problem. I hope you like it. Thank you. So, guys, we're just gonna go ahead and do her makeup now.
Listen, I'm gonna come back. I'm not gonna know how to act.
I'm gonna do her makeup now, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Yeah, they said so this will have to have children by 13 because that's when I become a risk for ovarian cancer.
So were your eggs that you froze?
It's at Columbia University, Columbia Hospital.
So are you going to put the eggs back when you're ready, or is this someone that's going to have to?
So they said that it's a small chance that I could possibly have kids naturally.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then what we do is we'll take my eggs and put it in the sperm. No, I can carry.
Oh, you can carry. Oh.
I would just have to get the sperm and then they make an embryo and they put it inside me.
Oh.
So now I'm really not deal with it. You have to buy my ass is really in the car.
Where are you from?
That's what I'm gonna say. I saw bad jokes, and I have to keep it at a minimum for your viewers because some people don't find shit funny and I can't joke all day. My eyes is really time is really ticking because I have videos on YouTube myself.
Oh, share your YouTube with everybody so they can subscribe to your channel.
My YouTube channel is That Chick with Cancer. And
subscribe.
Please subscribe, comment, share, get ready for laughter because I say anything that causes myself bad jokes that I have friends text me like, did you really just say that? And I'm like, oh, sorry. You know, but I've always been like this my entire life. And like I can't dim it down because I'm going through this hard time, you know.
It's good. I mean, whatever helps you.
Like I said, I have my days when I just really don't feel like doing nothing. But regarding the days, I'm laugh, I'm gonna joke, I'm gonna
live life.
So I said I was fortunate enough to extract 13 of them. So I'm like, look at me, God, about to get a TLC show. Brittany for her 13 kids.
Brittany her from both
Just Brittany and the little baby kids, you know?
Being Brittany.
Yeah, being Brittany.
I like that name.
Don't be surprised if you turn TV one day I'm on TLC. Like 13 children.
My goodness. Your life. Like, you're literally like never a dull moment. I think I need to start giving names to the ladies that I interview. Because everybody just comes with a whole different energy. And it's like, what? See why you can't change
That's exactly how I'm going to sleep today, guys. Like this. Some people I'm not taking this off. What the fuck?
Oh my I can't miss it.
I'm not. Wow. Like,
I don't think this is such a
are we recording? We're still recording. Okay.
Hey guys, so we're back. We're done with Brittany's makeup.
Because I gotta get into the details. Let me give you a slow mo.
Okay. Aww, I'm glad you love your makeup.
I don't want to cry. Bikini to blue. Thank you so much. I'm really trying to hold back the tears because wow.
Please, don't cry. We're not taking our pictures.
I know how I'm asleep like this tonight. Because this ain't coming up tonight. Nah. I want to thank you for buying my heart.
It was a fun session. It was amazing to see you, and I'll definitely see you again whenever I come this week or when you come to Atlanta. Thank you so much.
Oh my god. But before we get into this beat again.
Yo!
Bye guys!
Alright guys, bye. See y'all next time.